Water. It was not really frightening, yet impossible to escape the perception of darkness in that room, even if there was no place in which I would rather be right then. But, of course, then I could not imagine what it would be like to grip the chisel in order to engrave the first letter of my name into a plain surface of black marble. An increasingly blurry effigy of my father's back evermore seemed to be leaving my field of view, but every time it approached the edge, my gaze sought it and brought it back towards the centre. I did not want to forget, nor did I want to remember. It started at the edges, as if leaden water slowly trickled down over the skirting board, not forming puddles, but firstly as tiny drops which, as they grew, kept fighting to maintain the tension of the surfaces, fighting to stay themselves, to keep what made them what they were, up until the moment when there was no space left between one and the next. Then, suddenly, their protective barrier burst, and two were one. Greater, stronger, more threatening, but just as weak as before, whenever one alike came too close. Just like the water, albeit not leaden, was the other as well, at least to sight, for to the soul it was less transparent than the spring flood which brings the masses of soil that have safely lingered by the river bank covered in snow, the particles that have lain motionless through the summer, autumn, and winter. The earthen floor of the room slowly began crumbling due to the water which now rested in puddles instead of growing drops, and as if ruled by some law of nature, but despite its true essence a rarely seen spectacle, the compact soil began sinking into the floor in a shape completely symmetrical with that of the somewhat rectangular room. The water in which my father's senses drowned would be the very same in which I swam to keep mine alive. If only my father had swum closer to land, if I had only waded with gentle paces, with my trousers rolled up on my calves, or even stayed still on the bridge, keeping my socks and shoes dry. In the centre of the room there was now a hole, deep as thrice my feet, and the length slightly more than twice its width. Not until now, when I chip by chip had engraved my full name in the piece of marble, I saw how this latter harmonized with the hole in the earthen floor, in shape alike, but each other's opposites, as one was a solid body, and the other a complete lack of such, just like the reflection of an empty bottle in a half-empty glass that was left behind on the table, or my father's shadow, and my own, homeward bound in the lone shimmer of street lights right before night turns into day. But the shadow needs something to cast it, and the reflection something to resemble, just as the hole in the earthen floor awaits something with which to be filled. I engrave 8 digits in the piece of marble, 4 given by nature and 4 selected by me, and raise it next to the hole. It is dark down there, but it is not really frightening. There is no place in which I would rather be right now.